Hi there, I'm Virginia Lindsay of Ginger Cake Patterns and Design, and today, in honor of spring, my favorite season, we're going to make this cute bag pattern. I'm really excited about this. It was really simple, but I love how you use 2 half yards of fabric, one for the exterior, one for the lining, and then about a quarter yard for the handle. So it's just a fun, like, cute spring tote, or any time of year. So looking forward to showing you guys how to do that. But first I want to introduce you to my sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform. It has over 25,000 classes for creative people just like you and me. And right now I'm working on this hand lettering class, and so I'm trying. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that and how Skillshare works, and then we're going to get right into making this bag. So see you in a minute. So when you log on to Skillshare.com, this is what it looks like. And what's great is that you can if you don't really know what you're looking for, you can just browse through the classes they suggest for you. This is a botanical illustration class. And I really like how you can look up the reviews, what they're going to talk about, the discussions. And then here's my favorite part. You can scroll down and look and see what other people who've taken the class have created. That always kind of lets me know that you can really make something. Or you can search, like a logo design, and then they'll give you a bunch of different classes you can take. So right now I'm doing this hand lettering class, and here's the instructor. And the instructors are very professional, and you just kind of go through and learn the techniques. Now, if you use my link below, the first 1,000 people to visit will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. So check it out down there, and I think you guys will love it as much as I do. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is cut the fabric to make the bag. And you're going to use a half yard of fabric, 2 half yards of fabric to make this nice big bag. So get your fabric, your half yards of fabric, and from that half yard, you're going to cut 2 pieces that are 15 inches tall by about 21 or 20 inches, whatever the width of the fabric is. This is basically, you take this yard of fabric and you cut it in half. So you have 2 pieces, 2 fat quarters, and then make the top part only 15 inches, okay? Because 18 inches is just too tall. It looks kind of funny. So do that twice. So you have 2 pieces that are about 15 by 20, okay? And then for the handles, you're going to do 4 pieces that are 6 inches by 18. So 6 across, 18 tall, 4 pieces. And then we're going to take these and we're going to find the center right here. Another way to do it is just to do it right here on your cutting board, which might be a little easier. You can just, so these are about 21 inches. It varies with the width of the fabric. So it doesn't matter if it's 21 inches or 20 inches or whatever. You want to find the center, which is going to be 10.5. And you just take your piece, and if it has direction like this one, make sure you're doing it all in the same direction. And we just put it right in the center. Right sides together, the handle. So that it looks like this. All right? And we're just going to sew across the top. And we're going to do this to all 4 pieces of the fabric. So the lining fabric and the exterior fabric are all going to have this 6 by 18 inch piece of fabric down the center. It's going to be the handle. All right? And then I'll be back. Okay, here I have what's going to be the 2 exterior pieces sewn with the handle on the top. And if you want to see, I already pressed the handle here. And what I didn't open up and press it like this, like more of a traditional way. I just pressed everything up so that we still have this nice kind of even line. So we don't have anything, the seam here, the edge of the fabric is nice and even still. So we're going to need that. And we're just going to place these 2 right sides together and sew down either side, here and here, to make a tube. Don't sew the bottom yet. And then just do the exact same thing with the interior piece, the lining. Sew down the two sides. Okay, so what we have now is the piece, it was like this, and I sewed together the edges. Okay, and then I just turned it and had now the seam is down the center, and make sure you line up both those sides and then just smooth it out and make sure it's up here also. Okay, and then while you're at it, go ahead and check that then the handles kind of fold in on each other like this. Okay, so it's all looking good. And then what we're going to do is I made a little template here, and I don't know if you can see I wrote it in pencil, but this little square is 2.5 inches wide and 2 3/4 inches tall. And that extra 1/4 inch is to accommodate that we're going to sew a whole nother seam across the bottom here. So we place this like this in the corner, and you can like draw and cut it out, or use your rotary cutter or whatever you want to do to cut these corners off. Okay, and you need to do that on all 4 corners, just like this. So I'm also going to do this one, and then I have my lining. Exact same. I have the seam down the center, and I'm going to cut the corners off out of here too. So all 4 corners are going to be cut like this. Okay, the corners are all cut out, and now I'm just going to sew straight across the bottom here. Sew the two sides together. So on the exterior one, I'm going to sew all the way across, but on the lining one, I'm actually going to leave the center open. I'm going to sew like to here, and then back stitch, and then sew to here and back stitch, and that is for turning the whole bag right side out at the end. So make sure that you leave that little center spot open, you know, like a hand width on the lining. Okay, here we are over by the sewing machine. Here's this machine right here. So I've sewn across the bottom edge right there, and there's those corners, and this is the top edge, and it's a little squished here, but I wanted you to be able to see up close how we're going to sew the corners together. What you do is you just kind of open up that edge. So right now it looks like this, and we're going to kind of grab the corners, kind of pinch those corners, open it up, and then you have this nice corner with this is the bottom seam of the bag right in the middle, and these are going to give you these nice big boxy corners to have be able to put lots of stuff in here. So we have it opened up like this, and then let me get you closer to my sewing machine. Just sew straight across here. And that is the corner. So I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. All right, here we are. It's coming together. Get it up nice and high so you can see what it looks like. Okay, that's what yours should look like too. These are the corners. They turned out really nice. So what we're going to do now is just put the two sides together. But before we do that, we're going to round out these kind of squared off ends of the handles. And so we're just going to put them together like this. And then a nice little fold, and then just simply cut it like this. Okay, if you want to get even more of a cut, you can come down here. This doesn't have to be super formal. All right, What we do need to make sure we do though is then take, when we get the lining and we do the handles on it, they're the same. So I'm just going to fold the lining ones right sides together. This is the top edge of the handle. Get them all lined up, fold it in half. So it's all open there and we're folding it in half. And then I'm going to use this, what I just cut, as my guide. Let me just get this just so. Okay, so I'm lining up the folds. And then like this. Okay. So if you like, you could make it a lot sharper. It just would depend on what you want to do there. All right, so now we have we have all of the top edges of the handles are curved like this. Throw away all those scraps there. Okay, the next step is we're going to take the lining piece, turn it right sides out, and there is the opening. This is going to be the opening for turning, and we're just going to put it inside this piece. Okay, let me give you a different direction. Okay, so lining piece, this is what it looks like. It's right side out. We're going to insert it right inside the exterior. Okay, and use your fingers to put those corners together. These kind of really easy bags like this are all about like keeping a consistent seam allowance. If you can do that, then you can have things fit together really easily. If you find that things don't fit together, then it's usually a seam allowance issue and you might have to go back and fix that up. But right now it's looking great. And I usually will do my first pinning here at the seams right here in the middle of the bag. Top, middle, just look at them together. Okay, and then my next one is right here where the two handles come up. And then I might go up here at the top of the handles, right in the center, and then a couple along the sides here. Okay, and so on. So we're going to pin all the way around here, up and around the handle, around the back. Again, make sure that this seam is connecting, and these seams right here are connecting. These seams, the whole bit. And then we're just going to sew around the whole perimeter of the top of the bag, just straight up. Well, I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so I sewed the two pieces together all around the top perimeter. And now this is sort of an important step, is going ahead and cutting, clipping your corner, trimming the seam. The first place you want to make sure that you trim, and this is a careful spot, is right here. And you have to make sure that you don't cut into the seam, because we made it like a 90-degree corner here when you sewed here, and then you went straight up the handle. So you have to make sure that you cut in, but you don't actually cut the seam allowance. Okay, so do that to all four corners. Like that. And you can even, to kind of make this a little bit nicer, you can kind of cut away some of this extra stuff here. Then the other place that you're going to need to do some trimming here is this. We need to do some notching on this curve. So you're just going to notch. And this is just to make the curve a little, you don't have to go crazy with this because it's going to be tied in a knot, but do a little bit of notching. Okay, all around the curve here and the curve on the other handle up here. Alrighty, okay, so now I did all the clipping and notching, and I'm just going to reach right in here and find the opening and pull the bag right side out. And then you need to also pull the handles out. Alrighty. Alrighty, so it looks kind of silly at this point, but we are going to finish it up, make it look really good. And the first way to do that is to make sure that we're going to do a lot of pressing. So we've got to make sure that these handles are, I usually kind of roll my fingers in here, or you can stick a, you can do some different things to just make sure that this little curve is completely extended, okay? So you get those curves done. And then pressed really well. And just, for now, don't worry about the opening. We're going to do that a little later. Okay, so I pressed really well, and I'm back at my sewing machine. And so I wanted to show you what I'm going to do next to top stitch. I'm just going to top stitch around this whole top edge. I'm not going to top stitch up around the handle. Instead, I'm just going to take my machine and go all the way around here. I think that'll be a nicer finish. And you'd be able to really see this if you had a machine that was like, or if you had used like a solid fabric. So I'll just show you right here, just so it's more clear, how I'm going to do the top stitch. Instead of going up and around, I'm going to go around the top like that. Okay, so I did the top stitching, and the very last thing that we have to do is close up this opening down in the lining. And all I'm going to do to make that happen is just kind of open it up, and you can press this if you want, but usually all I do is just kind of go like this and use my fingers to kind of finger press. This is just the lining of the bag, so it's not a big, doesn't have to be perfect looking. You could close this, you could sew this closed by hand if you want it to be really perfect looking, because this bag would be really adorable reversible. So if you want to do that, that would look great, but otherwise just do this way. You could still do it reversible with this kind of a closing too. And we're done. Okay, here's the bag, all finished. So I think it's really cute. It's like a, what do they call it, a slouch bag. And the way that I ended up finishing the handle is just tying it in a knot. So it looks like this, and then you just tie it in a simple knot. You don't have to get too complicated there. Just like that. I would kind of, you know, give it a good pull. And then, ready to go to the market, to the store, to the lake, to collect some spring flowers, whatever you want to do with your cute new bag. Easy market bag. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed watching this and learning how to make this bag, please subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment. Tell me what kind of bags you like to make. I would love to hear from you and hear your comments. And I will see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.